saying, how do you know who is following up with? Is anybody follow? Do you know about Elon Musk? Is anybody following up with Elon Musk currently? They're trying to change Twitter. They changed Twitter logo. You got that right? How did you know? How did you know? The mobile phone. You're connected with several people. How are you connected? Imagine we're all on Instagram, and then I'm your friend on Instagram, right? Then we're not friends on Instagram, but you are friends with her. It means that there's a connection between me and her indirectly, in the sense that if I go to her page and I check the people she's following, I can find her. So let's assume that I'm looking for a barber to cut my hair. So I check through all the people I'm following on social media. I can't find any barber. So I go to my first friend. Let's say my first friend is Tunde. So I can click on Tunde's profile. And then I want to check all the people Tunde is following to see if I have a barber, or if he has a barber, or if he's following any barber. Is that correct? If I don't find any barber there, Tunde is following some people, Abi. I can select one and then check all the people that Tunde's friend is following. So it's a large network. Think about it. Why do you spend so much time on social media? If you do. Because when you are scrolling through your feeds, you open one page, Abi. Then the next thing, you find yourself on another person's page. You are scrolling through. Oh, there's a nice image here. You click on it. You are already on another person's page. Abi? Just like that. So it's a connection. So yes, I understand there might be the bad sides, but there are also great benefits. And we have to know those great benefits to take advantage of them. That's why the topic is riding on the wave of digital transformation. We're currently in a digital age, and then there are a lot of positive sides to it. So we have to ride on that wave for our personal development and also for professional development. Is that correct? If you can hear me, clap. You got me there. You got me. Are we together? Good. Now, why does technology matter again? Efficiency and automation. Excuse me. Let me get... So why does technology matter again? Efficiency and automation. Do you know about Cowry in Lagos? Do you know about Cowry? Has anybody entered the BRT bus? BRT bus you have, right? Now, let me give you two scenarios. You might not be really familiar with the first one, or let me use the first one as Cowry, since some of us know about Cowry. So originally, if you want to take a BRT, you have to go buy a ticket. Abi? There's a long queue. You stand there, you pay for the ticket, you give them the cash, give you the ticket, then you have to see where to keep going, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. When it gets to your turn, they look at the ticket, they tear it, just a bit like when you go to the supermarket, right? And then just to confirm that you've made payment before they let you into the BRT bus. That's the process. So it's an established process that was working very well. Similarly, when your parents are trying to pay your school fees initially, they have to go to the bank with teller. So they put the amount there, so you have to they have to go to the counter, and then they make the process, and then they make payment. Is that correct? So those are processes that were already put in place for payments and transportation, like the BRT bus. Is that correct? But now, somebody thought about it, and the person was like, it could be better. So that's why now you have Paystack. That, for instance, from the comfort of your home, you can pay school fees. From the comfort of your homes, you can transfer money and make payments for DSTV. Is that correct? Because initially, if you were trying to pay for DSTV, you have to go to DSTV office. Okay? But now you can make payment for DSTV as even NEPA, your normal NEPA. For you to pay for NEPA before, you have to go to NEPA office, or they come, they check the bill, you make your payment. But now you can buy your meter from the comfort of your home. So going back to Cowry, somebody thought about it, and the person was like, it could be better. So how can it be better? Or how could it be better? So now they've given you a card, and this is the technology. They've given you a card. They say you can credit the card. So anytime you go to the BRT station, you do not have to what? First of all, hold on to buy what? The ticket. You see somebody sitting right there. You have to like hold on. If the person is not around, you have to go look for the person and stuff like that. So they're like, no, that's not necessary anymore. You can just go there. You load your card, maybe 2,000 for the week, how much you need. So the next time you're going there, you get there, you swipe your card, and that's all. Now, did they make the process more efficient? Did they make the process more efficient? The same thing that you do over and over again, have they automated it? Yes. There are robots that help you cook. There are some restaurants abroad. There are robots that helps you cook. So it takes it, or it helps you bake. It takes it because there's already a lay-down process. So how can we build a technology that can help us what? Do the same thing over and over and over again. I think if I was connected, I would have written a code for you to show you how automation might work. If you can hear me, clap. You just woke her up. Well, sorry. Are we together? Yeah. Thank you. What's your name? Your name is? Sorry, Anne. Thank you very much, Anne. So Anne is saying that instead of wasting your money going to the bank to withdraw, you can use OPay. I think she's selling OPay, but you can use OPay. You can use OPay to make a transfer, and then the person receives the money. Thank you, Anne. Thank you. So another reason why tech matters. Another reason why tech matters. Empowering individuals. Empowering individuals. You might want to pay attention to this very well. Now, you can use technology to empower people. When we're talking about empowerment, we're talking about what? Lifting people, right? You rise by what? Lifting others. There's a project that we're currently working on. It's called LogEcho. Now, the project is addressing domestic violence. There are people that are married that they have issues of what? Domestic violence. One, we have this culture where sometimes you might want to have maids at home. Abi? Some of us, your parents, they do have maids. But in some homes, they actually maltreat the maids. Do you know that? Are you aware of that? In some homes, they maltreat children. Are you aware of that? Are you aware of that? It happens. But now, how can they get help? Who do they speak to? Because some of them, most especially ladies, they might not want to speak out because of, in quotes, the embarrassment. Do we know that? So it's a major concern in our society. And what's really interesting about this is that we're in a society today that we are facing new problems that we do not create. And at the same time, we're dealing with past problems. Let me give an instance. We're talking about climate change. On the internet, we're talking about climate change regularly. We're talking about cyberbullying. People are getting scammed online. We do not create those problems. At the same time, we're dealing with previous problems. So now we can use technology. So we're building a project where these people could come around and then they could get pro bono law services. In the sense that they cannot speak up and they do not really know much about laws, regulations related to these things. So we want to provide a community or build a community where they can get help, they can get support. Because for instance now, as a lady, if you speak up, you might be sent away from the house. So where do you go to? That's a problem. You know. So we're trying to use technology to what? Empower individuals. Also, some students that we were training, I think they did their demo recently last week Friday. And one of the teams, they are building an investment platform where now you are not investing in stocks and bonds abroad. They're investing in agriculture. So they're building a system where young people can actually, when you're getting your savings, your little savings, when your uncles come around December, Easter period, they want to give you some change, right? Oh, Esther, take this 3,000 naira. Use it, to buy chocolate, right? Or take this 5,000 naira. Take this 2,000 naira. For your birthdays, they come around, they give you some money. And now, we don't want you to just squander that money. So these guys, they built a platform where young people like you and I, we could go and invest in agriculture. So we're investing in our local community and our local products. It was built by some of our students. So we can use technology, or why technology matters, because also we can empower people through technology. Are we together? Are we together? Yes. So, finally, on empowering, on why tech matters. So, I'm trying to answer the question on why tech matters. Now, we have advancement in healthcare. Advancement in healthcare. So, there's a lady in Kenya. She built, or she's currently using drones to transfer, medicines, just like telemedicine, trying to transfer medical products to patients. So from the comfort of your home, it's quite expensive, but there are also technologies that have helped, made some. Sorry. So we have, that was pretty funny, sorry. So we have technology. You know that there are some sicknesses that at some point we thought that they cannot be cured. You know that? We thought that once you are faced with this, pandemic, you remember the pandemic? There are some sicknesses that we thought that, something like malaria, at some point, we thought that there was no cure for malaria. Now if you have malaria, you are gone. But look at it today. Any small thing. Daddy, I think I have malaria. Mommy, I think I'm running temperature. I think I have malaria. So you don't ever think that malaria can get you killed. Because if you have malaria, they will buy you Amotem. What's the name? Amazem. It's always M. Quatem. One time. And you never finish your drugs. Once you take it the first 2 days, I feel okay. And then you never finish the drug. So scientific research is being made daily, hourly, to find solutions to real-time problems, especially in the healthcare system. All right? Are we together? Are we together? Okay, so that's why tech matters. So do you think tech matters? If you think tech does not matter, let's have a conversation. Just signify. If you think technology does not matter, please signify. I would like to hear your opinion. So you think tech matters? Do you think tech matters? You do? Why? Sorry? It's efficiency. Okay. If we did not have this microphone, some of you at the back would probably not be able to hear me. You know that? So now this thing has made things efficient for us. Sometimes, hold on. Sometimes, sometime back it was it had the wire. So if I'm moving, there's only a limit I can go with this microphone. But now, There's this, Abi. You can see some people now in churches or in different events, they just put it in here, so they don't even have to hold it anymore. It's getting what? Better. The advancements daily. I should continue. All right, so one, tech matters. That's one of the first things I was trying to tell you, or I needed to tell you, why tech matters. So let's do something. So I want you to tell me what you have interest in. Anybody? So tell me what you have interest in or what you like to go into in the future. And then let's see how technology can make it work. Or technology has a major role to play in that industry. Anybody? Okay. Sorry. Art. Did he find art? Do you get that? Paintings and drawings. So to answer a question, I'm going to share with you a story. So there's this young man, I think he's currently in the US. So he's not on the good side, or he was not on the good side of life. Now, what do I mean by was not on the good side of life? Please pay attention to this story. This guy is not more than 14 years. And I'm sure there are some 16, 17, 18 years. So as of 2020, it was 14. So by now, it should be about 17, right? 17 years now. So it's about 17, which is age range. Is that okay? So at the time, they gave birth to him deaf, so he couldn't hear. That's one. Then he fell, so his bones in his legs and arms were broken. Not on the good side of life. So he had to do a surgery for his ear, so he was putting on like this hearing aid to help him, hear bit by bit. But there's a challenge, because when he went to school, he was being bullied. He was being bullied. So for him at the time, it was like he's not going to do anything about it. So the best thing he would do is to keep short, since that was his safe space. So if he keeps short, it means that there's no trouble for him. Abi? So he decided that he's not going to say anything to people. So if you ask him a question, he will either nod his head or he points out. Ask a question, he nods his head or he points out. So he never said a word. But one thing that he took was that his mom paints. His mom paints. So he watched his mom paint. Remember, he wasn't talking. He watched his mom paint. So that painting was his own artistic voice, in the sense that if he's trying to communicate, he would draw. So he became good at it. He met a lot of celebrities along the way. I'm going to find his name and then share with you. So he met a lot of celebrities because of what? His exceptional painting. Now, do you know what he's doing? He's online, teaching people how to paint. Technology. Would he be able to make that global impact without technology? Probably not. So with technology now, he's teaching other people how to paint. Somebody that was on the bad side of life. With technology, his work was seen globally. There are some things we post online. You want to post your works. Some people that sing, you want to post yourself singing. Or you want to post a recording of your voice. Abi? Some people that paint, you want to post it online. That, this is what I do. This is what I'm good at. And now, his painting, that's his artistic voice. So he doesn't really need to even say much. His painting with what speak for him. If he was trying to communicate, he rather uses painting to express his thoughts and feelings. And now he's teaching young people how they can do it as well. Technology. Anybody? Any other person? Yeah. Agriculture. I spoke about agriculture a bit not too long. So let me explain what these people are doing with agriculture. So they actually interact with local farmers in the north. So, in the farming period, there's a point where farmers need a lot of money for different things. Like, for instance, they need money for harvesting. They need money for manual labor. Is that correct? Because as a farmer, you have to go to the farm, do a lot of hard labor and stuff like that. So now when you're farming in bulk, you need extra hands. So you need to get people that you can pay to do the job for you. Abi? So they need resources. So it gets to a point where they need a lot of money. If you can hear me, clap. So we cut Abi. So it gets to a point where they need money to what? Invest. Correct? So they need money to invest in pay manual laborers and then help out with some tractors and So they might not have that money. So what these young people are doing now is that they're trying to get people like you and I to what? Invest into those farmers. So now, when you invest your money in those farmers, you can get two things. Either you get monetary returns, in the sense that, for instance, I can invest 5K and get maybe 7,000 or 10,000 by a period of time. Abi? One. Or, if you're investing, they can give you corn, like the product of the farmers. So sometime early this year, I invested in farming. So this same thing we're talking about. So I gave them some money. So now I have 5 bags of corn. So I'm not getting a monetary value back. I'm getting what? The product. As at when I invested, a bag of corn was going for 10,000 naira. So let's assume I bought 1 bag for 10,000 naira and now 5 bags for what? 50,000 naira. Is that correct? Today, as we speak, a bag of corn is 40,000 naira. That is 40 times 5, 200,000 naira. So these guys are now using technology to give other people the opportunity to what? Invest in farming. So either you get a monetary return back or you get what? The product. So imagine you get the product. Let's say you invest in tomatoes, for instance. And you have the product tomatoes with you. It means that you are buying tomatoes at a cheaper rate because you invested in tomatoes at the point of farming. So now when people are buying tomatoes at a higher rate, you already invested in tomatoes. And now you can get the tomatoes products. So the price of you getting food has what? Gone down because you invested when they were farming, when they needed what? The money. Not when they've transported it from Kaduna to Lagos. Do you understand? Are we together? Are we together? If you can hear me, clap twice. That guy just Jesus. Are we together? Are we together? Good. So now I want to talk about diversity in technology. So just to interest you, this is the this is the interesting part about technology and career in technology. So for you to begin your career in technology, you do not have to be the most beautiful. You do not have to be the most intelligent. You do not have to be minimum 18 years or minimum 25 years. You do not have to come from Lagos. I told you recently I'm working with a few people in Cameroon, Rwanda, 2, 3, US. After now, this evening I have a conversation, another talk to give. And the people that I'm giving the talk to, 7 p.m. my time, but not the same time with people in the US. Not the same time with people in Cameroon. Okay, the same time with people in Cameroon, sorry. It means that these are people from different backgrounds. There's diversity. And most times, now these days, they are encouraging a lot of tech companies to what? Encourage diversity. Inclusivity, where imagine we're working together. Let me say, for instance, I'm from the north, and then let's say you're from the south, from different places. When we are having a conversation around the product, we're coming from different contexts. In the sense that, for instance, northerners, you see some of them marrying 2, 3 wives, Abi? And then if you come here, you see some people marrying just, they say, okay, you must marry only one woman. Is that correct? So now imagine we're building a product. Now I'm telling you, or I'm giving you ideas based on where I'm coming from. So I'm telling you that we should include this part for the purpose of what? Diversity. So that people from the south can use it and people from the north can also use it. Because us that were working on the team were sharing what? Different ideas. Is that correct? Is that correct? So diversity, very, very important in technology. You do not have to come from the north to work in technology or to start a career in technology. It's an inclusive community. Anywhere. Does not matter, not your age, not your height, not your background. The funniest thing, even if you've not gone to school, I'm not saying do not go to school. Please, finish school. But I'm going to share a story with you very soon. There are some guys that have built something amazing. 4 of them, they've not gone to school. I still spoke to them this morning. 4 of them, they've not gone to school. I'll share with you the product that they built. I was their project supervisor. 4 of them, they've not gone to school. I'm still amazed to tomorrow. And something that's even important is that the same thing that they built, somebody built something similar in the US, and she's on a global scale. So why are the people here, why are we not on a global scale? So when you see people doing things and they say, oh, they are coming from the US, oh, they are white people, oh, they are coming from here, they're coming from this other side. It's the same thing. We can do it as well. The only challenge we are having is probably our environment. But you should not let your environment limit you as to what you can do. Thank you for that question. So you're asking, if I get that correctly, you're asking if are we not going to have an issue or issue with regulation? Hmm? Like crime. If everybody's embracing technology, so if we're embracing technology, are we not going to have issues in terms of what? Mhm. Hmm. No, I don't think so. So I'm trying to rephrase your question so we all get it. So you're asking that if all of us should embrace technology today. I think first of all that we're all embracing technology. That's the first thing. But now you're asking, maybe you're looking at it from a different context. Like let's say if everybody is doing online transfer. Okay, if everybody utilizes AI, so could that not be an issue in terms of regulation? Ah, if everybody embraces AI, would that not be an issue in terms of? Okay, hold on. So let me paint a picture to you. Then you tell me if what you're asking is related to what I'm saying, so that at least everybody we are all together. Because you're asking on a different level, so I have to break it down so that we are all on the same page. Do you get that? So now, for instance, you know how some people post their pictures a lot on social media. Even parents post their newborn baby, oh my first child, my second child. When you do birthdays, they want to what, post their children pictures. Is that correct? So now with AI, there can be an issue. And the issue might be, so what if I take that picture and then I can use AI to transform the image to maybe an older version of your child? And then I'm saying that I use that image to create like a license to commit a crime. So it means that they can trace it back to your child because you've posted pictures of your child. So something like that. So if we're, so now on that level, we're talking about ethics. Because generally, in all things, there must be what? Ethics. There are certain things that you do or you do not do when you come to the church. Is that correct? There are certain things that you do not do when you're at home. Let me give you a good instance of ethics. So in software engineering, we have ethics, right? Like for instance, we could say, so there's a popular question that we'll ask ourselves at the beginning of our program, that if you are asked to build the next plane, and then they're asking that if your mom or your mother is going to be the first customer on that plane, how would you build it? If you're going to build a plane, and if your mother is going to be the first customer on that plane, how would you build it? You're going to be very careful. Is that correct? Very careful. You want to make sure that no tire should lose, no wing should break. The person that's going to fly that plane, you must be trained. Do you understand? So now we're talking about what? Ethics. So because now it's my mother, I'm going to be careful. Meanwhile, generally, I should be careful because we're talking about people's lives. So as a person or as a good individual, you should not be thinking about using that image to what? Commit crime. Because when talking about technology, we're talking about, okay, how can it what? Better or shape our future in a positive way. So now, if you're asking those kind of questions, we're now shifting towards the direction of what? Ethics, which is part of the things that we talk about in our training. Because we do not want to train people that when you get to the bank, you can steal. You can hack and steal. It's not far-fetched. Because now you understand software. You understand how to what? Produce softwares. So it means that you have access to what? Hack systems. So we do not want, that's part of the challenges we're facing, because we do not want to train people that eventually the skill we give them, they use it for what? The negative side of things. Do you get that? So imagine there's someone that is a criminal, and then I'm training him how to use technology, teaching him how to write code, and then we keep building projects, interesting projects. Tomorrow you say, when I can make money like a hush puppy, what's my own? We do some other fraudulent activities now. So there are some people that, no, they're not going to do it. So for instance now, I was speaking with a man, and then he got a job with a betting company. Like, you know, Ninja Bets, so those betting sites. He refused it. Why did he refuse it? It's a part of his ethics. He cannot work for a betting company because for him, he believes that it's not benefiting the lives of people. Do you get that? He doesn't bet. He's not going to bet. He's not encouraging betting. So he's not going to work for a betting company. Part of what is ethics. So when you're talking about technology and the negative side, we also need to be concerned about what? Ethics. I really do not want to educate people that are going to use technology for what? The wrong things. Are we together? Are we together? Thank you. So did I answer your question? Okay. So now, that's diversity in tech, and you can see it here. We're talking about what? It's not about your age. We're talking about what? Skill. Your skill set, you have to be exceptional. We're talking about what? Your competence. And most importantly, what? Your attitude. Your attitude to work. Your attitude to what? Deliver. Your attitude to what? Learn. Are we good? Anybody got any question? Okay. So moving on, let's talk bits about, I have a few minutes. So let's talk bits about what kind of career can you have in tech? Like when you are joining the tech ecosystem, what are you going to be doing? What did you say? Sorry? Software engineering. Anything else? Website development. Front-end development. Cybersecurity. Data analytics. Huh? Digital marketing. Huh? Coding. What else? Graphic design. Okay? Anything else? Music. Huh? Web development. Okay, so we have different careers and we could talk bits about them. So what I would do is that I might run through them. Then I'm going to share my email or maybe one of my social media accounts so you can just hit me up so we can have more conversations about careers in technology. But for a start, we have software development. Software development, that's the word, building softwares. Building softwares, so for instance now, we can have, you know about Tesla, you know about electric vehicles, right? There are softwares that run on those vehicles. You use what Twitter every day. You use Instagram. You use WhatsApp. You play games, right? Those are what softwares that people build. YouTube used to stream church services, Abi. That's the software that somebody built. Also, we have what data science and analytics, which you spoke about. So when we're talking about data analytics and data software, it means that you're going to be writing algorithms that are going to what gain insight from data. For instance, I can have data. Imagine I have data of everybody here, your name, your age, your height, and everything. So I can write an algorithm that's going to tell me, what is the most age range of the people, or people with the most, the highest age, how many are they here? So we want to gain insight from that particular data. So we have to still talk bits about machine learning when dealing with data analytics. Also, you want to talk about business intelligence. Don't worry about this grammar. So we can have more conversations around this thing. So we also have UI, UX design. For people that are interested in design, we have a space for you in the tech ecosystem. I can see she's clapping. She's interested in design. Okay? Somebody like her who's interested in art, she can go into user design. So if you think about it, when we're talking about UI, UX, we're talking about the user interface and what they experience. For instance, you can see how easy it is to use WhatsApp. You just open it one time, you click on the chat name, and then you are chatting Abi. Now you can edit your chat, You can edit your chat. You make a typo, you make an error, you edit it, Abi. That's what's happening now. The user interface is beautiful, simple. The experience is smooth. If you open Twitter, do you have difficulty navigating? You know where to change your profile picture. You know how to send message. You know how to archive a message. Abi, you know how to place a phone call. It's right there, simple. Same thing with Instagram. For people that have smartphones, that guy is so concentrated, easy. He's on his phone. The interface and experience is smooth. He has no problems. He's not trying to figure out how to use it. Easy. So people that actually make it that easy, there are people that go into user interface and user experience. So user experience, maybe if you are studying psychology or you want to study psychology, you want to know more about human behaviors, you want to know more about interactions, maybe you might want to go into user interface and user experience. All right? Are we good? Are we good? Good. Okay, then we have game development. Yeah. Who loves playing games? You just love, no, you don't want to build games. You just love playing games. You love gaming. Anybody else? Okay, you love gaming. Now, who wants to build games? I'm not sure again. You want to build games. So for the first time in our program, when we had our demo, cool, you can put your hands on, thank you. If you can hear me, clap. It's going down, it's going down. So for the very first time in our program, we had a team build a game. For the very first time. It was interesting. So they built a game, and they are still building a game that basically help people learn how to spell. So you come to the platform, and then what happens is that you select a character, like Spider-Man or one of those, animes. You select the character, and then you have a bad guy chasing you. So as the bad guy is chasing you, you're trying to look for different words. So when you pick two letters that matches the correct word, you have a point. So and then you keep going from level to level to level. For the first time in our program, they built a game, and I was surprised that, wow. So we can build games here. I mean, it was time-consuming. A couple of times they failed. They came, they said, Jonathan, we are tired. We don't want to do this game thing again. Can we change our project? I said, no, you can't change your project. You started it. And similarly for myself, it was the first time managing a team or a project that they were building games. I had no option. I had to learn it because I have to manage them. Do you get that? So they had to force me to go read up on game development and practice game development so I can be able to manage them, especially when they need support and help. Are we together? Okay, so we also have AI and machine learning. I spoke a bit about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Machine learning, you are building models. You are building models in such a way that the machine can what keep doing or keep using the data you fed the models with. For instance, now you could build a model that let me give a good instance. Okay, let's say like the electric vehicle now. So you know how for electric vehicles, you do not have to put in what's it called? You have to put in the fuel and stuff like that, and sometimes they'll tell you that it's self-driving, Abi. So now let's say you pass this route today. So the way it works, since it's machine learning, machine is learning basically. So if you want to pass this route tomorrow, the machine can know how to navigate it in such a way that it knows where there are bumps. So it knows where to slow down, it knows where to take speed. Because of what? It knows that, okay, it's getting closer to maybe something. So it's learning, it keeps learning. Are we together? If you can hear me, clap twice. All right. That's for career and tech. Somebody also spoke about cybersecurity. So for cybersecurity, yes, you're trying to secure systems, especially in enterprises. You want to secure systems to avoid cybercrime, to avoid people just getting into your system to get your data. So that's what we talk about cybersecurity. We also have other parts like cloud computing. We have DevOps, and there are different bits to it. Okay? So, but like I said, no worries. These are just like names. So if you want to know more, definitely I'm always available. We can have more conversations about this. All right? I think my time is up, but let me just round up. So what are the skills you need for a tech career? I think I need everybody to hear this. If your neighbor is sleeping, please just tap him or tap her. If your neighbor is sleeping, just tap him. Just say, wake up, wake up. Wakey, wakey. Wake up. Wake up. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Weaker. All right, so very briefly, now we're talking about technology. I've told you about why tech matters, and we have established an agreement that tech truly matters. Now, I've also showed you some of the career paths in technology. So now I want to tell you, if you're going into technology, there's some common skills that we need to have. Like if you want to go into technology, if you want to join the tech ecosystem, there's some common skills we need to have. First of all, you have to be observant. The next slide, please. You have to be observant. The next slide, please. You have to be observant. You have to observe. You have to brainstorm. And I'll tell you about these things. You have to observe. You have to brainstorm. Aside from brainstorming, you have to do a lot of research. So it's not beans. You've heard when people say, this thing is not rocket science, have you? Have you heard that thing before? It is not rocket science. This one, it is rocket science. Because it is not easy. You have to do research, you have to build, and you have to communicate. So when I'm talking about observe, the next slide, please. When I'm talking about observe, I'm talking about you would be solving problems daily. You're going to be solving problems. Now, I'm going to ask a question, and I need like 2 people to respond to me. Can you find any problem in this room? Look around. Look around you. Can you spot any problem in this room? You can spot a problem. Look around you. Can you spot any problem in this room? If you can spot a problem, please raise your hand. Anybody else? This is your first test, though. Whether you can join us. If you can spot a problem, look around you. If you can spot a problem, signify. What did you spot? What did you spot? What did you spot? See, three of them. In fact, they're the problems. If you can spot a problem, anybody? Can you? Okay. What problem? Too many wires are exposed. One. People are sleeping. Yeah. He has three problems. Tell me one. The projector, what happened to it? Okay, as I'm passing through it, it's obstructing the other the view or what is displaying, Abi? One. What else? The wires on the floor, Abi? Okay, what else? Oh, the light. What's to the ground? What's that? Oh, the scaffolding. Okay, it can fall. There's a possibility that it could fall. Okay? Anybody else? It is hot in here. That's a good problem, not a bad problem. It needs to be hot. On the floor, yeah? Somebody said that problem. Thank you. I'm the problem, Abi. Anybody else? Yeah. You have a problem? Eh? It's hot in here. That's a good problem. You need to be hot. The socket is exposed and there's what? There's a big what? Okay, there's a hole there. Okay. So broken tiles. Okay. Why do you do this? It's a problem now. Anybody else? The projector is what? It's slanting. So it's not, you can't see it very well. So of all these problems that you have mentioned, do you have a problem? Of all these problems that we have mentioned, is there anyone you think we can use technology to solve? We can use technology to solve. Okay, the heat, AC. Hmm? Huh? Okay, just to fix them. Yes. So if something should spoil, we can fix it by technology. But I'm asking, is there any technology you can think about that we can build that's going to solve one of the problems that you have just identified? Solar. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? The people online. Oh, people watching online? Seriously? I never knew. Oh, wow. Somebody just said that the people online do not have this issue we're facing. That all the issues here, people online are not facing them. Interesting. The wires. There should be a way that what? Yeah. Okay, so she's saying that there could be a way that we could connect these things without having to what see wires. Or maybe that's a conversation for another day. So yes, so you have to be a problem solver. If you are going to go into technology, you can't miss out on that. You must be a problem solver. The reason is because you will always be faced with challenges. You always come across problems. In fact, let me just let you know, finding problem is a skill. Oh. It's not just about solving problems. Finding problem, it's a skill. So you want to be able to look at an environment and then spot out what problems. You know that? You want to be able to what, look at your environment and then find the problem, then solve a particular problem. So you also have to be what? A critical thinker. Critical thinker in the sense that if I tell you, so if all of us, if I ask a question and all of us got it wrong, it does not mean that the answer is correct because all of us got it wrong. Do you know? If I say 2 plus 2 and you tell me 2 plus 2 is 5, if you say 5, everybody else says 5, everybody else says 5, everybody else says 5. Does it mean that 2 plus 2 is 5? Does it mean that 2 plus 2 is 5? 2 plus 2 is still what? 4. So why is it that when a lot of people are saying things online, we take it as true? Because I just showed you that if 1,000 or 1,000,000 people are saying something, it does not make it correct. If they are saying the wrong thing, it does not make it what? Correct. So you have to be what? Critical in your thinking. Where when they tell you something, you have to what? Verify the information. How did you know? Who told you? Where did you get it from? How sure are you? Prove it. Do you understand? So the fact that, remember this thing always, the fact that 1,000 people are saying 2 plus 2 is 5 does not make 2 plus 2 5. It still remains what? 4, and that's the truth. So if 1,000 people are saying something, if they are not correct, they are not going to be correct because there are a lot of people saying it. If all of us were saying that rain is falling outside, it does not mean that rain is actually falling outside. Do you get that? So you have to be critical in your thinking. You have to what? Learn continuously. Because, you know, it's a technology age, and I'm sure you know that things are moving what? Very, very fast. You might want to pay attention. It's a technology age, things are moving what? Very fast. At some point, you were using the BlackBerry, right? That had what? The keypads. But now we are using the touch screen. Everybody. They're using the what? The touch screen. Is that correct? At some point, we were using the wired earphones. But now, some of us, we have what? AirPods. What next are we going to use? At some point, we were wearing wristwatches like this. But now, some of us are using what? iWatch, smartwatches. Is that correct? So things are changing what? Very, very fast. You've watched those old movies. If they are trying to snap me now, I think you will see one. You think might explode. Have you seen those movies? It will blow up. But now, just right here, we're having what? The connectivity, the connection all around. So things are moving really fast. Before you know it. So you have a role to play. You have to play catch up. I mean, you do not have to solve all the problems. You have to just know what you are interested in and what, go for it. You are interested in agriculture, go for it. She's interested in art, go for it. Is that okay? You have to know what you're interested in and then you go for it. So you have to be a critical thinker. You have to learn continuously. Before you can build any software, you have to what, learn a programming language. Maybe Java, maybe Python, maybe JavaScript, maybe Golang. Do you understand? You have to learn different frameworks. React, Vue, Angular, Spring Boot. There are a lot of them. Are we together? So for you to be able to build these products we're talking about, you need to what? Equip yourself with the skills and the right programming languages. People that want to build games, you might want to start looking into C#. People that want to do data analytics, you want to start looking into Python. People that are interested in front-end engineering, you might want to start looking into what? JavaScript. Things for the web, JavaScript. Are we together? Are we together? You have to settle down. You have to study to build amazing products. You do not always want to be a consumer, always receiving. You also want to what? Give back. Somebody once gave me this information. I once found out about this information online. And now today I'm sharing the same information with you because I've been in the system. So from today, you might be in the system, and tomorrow you are sharing the information with other people, not just locally, but globally as well. Are we together? Are we together? And then collaboration and teamwork. You remember I talked about diversity. You remember, right? So because you're Nigerian does not mean you always be working with Nigerians. You might be working with people in Cameroon, like me. You might be working with people in the US, like me. You might be working with people, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. So, in fact, what's really interesting, I just remembered. Yesterday, I think there's some guys that are trying to build something related. This is still project students, but they've not done their project yet. They're not done with it. So they're talking about how they can manage waste. So problems everywhere, don't worry. They can manage waste. So how do we make sure that plastics are being disposed properly? And, we're keeping things sustainable and a lot. So now they are thinking around, can we build a dustbin or a waste bin that the moment it gets filled up, automatically notifies them, they come around to pick the dirt. So usually lawnmower comes like every weekend. So now they want to build a waste bin that automatically when it gets to a certain level, they are notified. So there needs to be some sort of hardware. So when they are notified, what happens is that they come around, they pick it up, and then they go dispose it. Technology. And one of the guys writing the back-end code, the guys from the north, you see Jonathan Zomana, you know how they speak, Northerners. They have their own what's it called? Accent, right? You can tell someone that's from the north. And it's really interesting because the guy is a Muslim, he's working with a Christian. Nobody cares. Teamwork, collaboration, diversity, because that guy from the north might have different views, different from mine. So I need to embrace and listen to what he's talking about. Communication, firstly, about listening to other people. Okay? So just to round up, I will not talk about the stereotypes and some of the challenges that you're going to face, but I want to just share with you one story, and then I can call in my partner to give you more information on how you can get started in technology. So I want to show you Gitanjali Rio. Gitanjali Rio. Please, can you go to the next slide? The next slide, please. Gitanjali, yeah. So this is Gitanjali Rio. Please look at this. This girl is 17 years. Gitanjali Rio, she's 17 years. And now, this is the story I said I'm going to share with you. So Gitanjali Rio, she's concerned about young people, and she's trying to build products around cyberbullying. Cyberbullying in the sense that, we are young people, it's very easy for us to lash out. We're having conversations with our friends, and now we're upset. The next thing, what's your problem? Are you okay? Are you stupid? Are you, stuff like that. We're using different kinds of words that we shouldn't be using as young people. And we shouldn't be using as good people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now she built an extension. She's an American. Look at this. She's an American. She built an extension. You know what we call browser extension? Do you know browser extension? Okay, no worries. We'll talk more about it as well. So she built a browser extension where if you are trying to send a message to your friends and then it spots like the F word, it spots those kind of words that you shouldn't be using, it changes it for you or it asks you that, are you sure you want to use this word? So it's like a checker. It guides you so you don't use foul languages. So she built that thing. She's on a global scale now. She's, working with different teams around. Gitanjali Rio on a global scale. After now, please read up on her. Now, this is the interesting part. She's on a global scale. Now, the next slide. Next slide, please. This is James. This is James. The youngest person on James's team is 17 years as well. In 2 weeks, I'm talking about the last 2 weeks, James's team, they built an extension. And that extension, what it does is that, some of us, we might spend time a lot on Netflix. spend time a lot on, Instagram and those platforms, Abi. So now what they built is that when you turn on that extension, so it limits how much time you spend on Netflix. So let me say you want to study. So instead of you being distracted, when you go on Netflix, as long as that extension is turned on, it's what blocks you from that site. So you cannot use Netflix that period. So your parents can install it in your phone, and then when you want to study, you don't have access to those websites. What is the difference between Gitanjali Rail and James? James is in Yaba. You know Yaba? That's where we have our program. James is right in Yaba. But James is not yet on a global scale. But James has the same skill to build that technology. And he built it with his team in 2 weeks. The next slide, let me show you. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Look at this. In 2 weeks, they built it. The 4 of them, none of them have gone to the university. Their last education is what? Secondary school. They've not gone to the university. And 4 of them built this thing. They started learning tech last year. Same time last year. They are now up to 1 year in learning tech. And they built the same extension. But if you go online and Google Gitanjali Rayo, you see her all over the places. 17 years. She's talking. She's speaking to people. She's teaching people. I know environments are different, but we have the same skill. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you're not, because you're in Nigeria does not mean you cannot build these things. Because you are at this age does not mean you cannot build these things. A lot of us who are 16, 17, that's the best time to start. I wish I started a very long time ago. No, not necessarily because I really did good things while I was still young. I tried to do businesses. It failed. When I was in school, I tried to work with different people. I mean, some went well, some did not go well, but all these things, they were beautiful experiences for me. And it guided me towards the tech journey, Abi? So not like I wish I started a long time ago, but because I actually started a long time ago. But not writing code a long time ago. So James and his team, 4 of them, that young guy by the side is 17 years, same age with who? Real. So we're not too young to do this. So how do you want to get started? Don't worry about it. I know that there might be some biases that tech is not for women. Tech is for everybody. The fact that you're a woman, I spoke about diversity. The fact that you're a woman does not mean that you cannot do tech. It does not mean that you are not knowledgeable. There are a lot of communities today that are actually supporting women in tech. A lot of communities. Our community is supporting women in tech. The fact that you're from the north does not mean you cannot do tech. You can do tech. Tech is not Yahoo Yahoo. There are some biases that tech is Yahoo Yahoo. Some people believe that tech is related to the 666. That's not true. Honestly speaking, you don't know that. You don't know that people have those beliefs. That tech is related to 666. Tech is like Yahoo Yahoo. Is not. I guess it. There are negative sides. But that is not technology. When we're talking about technology, we're thinking about innovation. We're trying to be forward thinking. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. That's too slow. If you can hear me now. So that's not it. It's not Yahoo Yahoo. It's not a thing of if you're a female, you cannot do tech. Tech is for all of us. So I'm going to call on my partner, Gabriel. He's going to share with you how you can get started in tech in a few minutes, and then we can call it a day. So if you need any information, if you want to talk more, ask more questions, we'll still be around. You can, reach out. I'll definitely respond to your messages, maybe via email or via Twitter. So Gabriel, please.
Hi guys. Okay, how many of you enjoyed the session with Jonathan? Okay. So my name is Gabriel, and I'll just try to quickly summarize how you can get started if you want to get into tech. I think we have very low time more for us to finish. Can you please help me move to get started page? Hi guys. Hello. Getting started. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's fine. So, well, at Semicolon, really, I'm sure when they were introducing us, they mentioned that we're building digital transformation in Nigeria and in Africa, right? And really, we try as much as possible to embrace youth, to get into tech, to build their skills, to do what they want to do. Um, and Jonathan tried to explain that there are various career paths that you can take in tech, right? He mentioned some of the career paths. Who remembers some of those career paths that you can take in tech? Okay. Web development, right? Game development, yeah. Well, someone was UI UX design. Do you know what UI UX design is? What does it mean? Okay, user interface, user experience. That's what it means. Basically, you're helping users understand what they want to use. Remember when you use your, how many of you are on social, you guys are on social media, right? And then you see that they do updates regularly, and you have to update those apps, and you find out that, oh, this thing was not on WhatsApp. At some point, I don't know if you guys were using WhatsApp before, but at some point you couldn't see statuses, right? There was nothing like statuses, right? And all of a sudden you started seeing status, right? So it was one of those things that they were trying to build with user interface and user experience, just so that users can experience WhatsApp in a more different way where you don't have to chat before you know when someone posts an update about themselves, right? So that's the whole point of UI UX. I'm just trying to explain the entirety of getting started in tech, right? That there are various pathways you can take. And we have embracing the tech landscape. You can identify your interest, right? So there are various interests. Once you understand that tech has a lot of places where you can, work as or what you can do as a tech enthusiast. I mean, you can do product management, you can do UI UX, like she said, you can do web development, you can do mobile app development, you can do DevOps engineering. Who has heard of DevOps engineering here? Has anyone heard of DevOps engineering here? No one. Wow. So let me do a bit of explanation of what DevOps engineering is. So DevOps engineering basically is, when software engineers build softwares, for instance, and then, okay, let me give you an actual scenario. You guys are on Twitter, am I correct? If you're on Twitter, raise up your hand. Who's on Twitter here? Oh, you guys are not on Twitter? Or you're shy? Okay, if you're on Twitter, you must know that Twitter is trying to change their name from Twitter to X, right? Who knows about that? Okay, you know about that. So basically, they've already developed what they are doing, right? They've built the X platform, they've remodeled it and the likes. Where DevOps come in is that whatever has been built, you already know that there's going to be like an X. Twitter is changing to X, the whole icon will move and all those things, but you're not seeing it yet, right? It's not because the software engineers have not built it. It's because it has not yet been deployed appropriately. So what DevOps does, basically, what DevOps engineers do, basically, is they help you. DevOps basically means development and operations, right? So definitely what they do is they help you put the developments in what you can use now. They basically put things online for you to be able to use. They deploy online. That's what DevOps does generally. You get, so there are a lot of things you can do. You just need to identify your interest. If you're the kind of person that likes seeing designs work, how things look, you like how this thing looks, this should be here, this should be here. It's easier to click on this place on your mobile app. Then you would want to go for front-end development, right? But if you're the kind of person that wants to understand, okay, why is it that when I click this button, it goes to this page? What happens when I click this button? Then you're going into back-end development because you're trying to know what happens at the end of all those things, right? So you get to identify where your interest lies in tech. I'm just trying to let you know that you identify where your interest lies in tech. And then after you do that, you have tech education and resources, right? So you learn. You already know, okay, this is what my interest is in tech. Now, how do you learn to get yourself better at that particular thing that you're interested in? For instance, you're interested in game development. What do you need to learn to be able to build games? In our world where we are now, if you're doing programming languages and you want to learn how to do software, if you're going to create games that are going to last long and you'll be able to scale, then you need to create your games in something like a C-based language, right? So you need to understand what you need to be able to grow. That's where your tech education and resources comes in place, which is what Semicolon basically does, right? And then you're going into networking and community involvement. So now that you have built, you've learned how to do this thing, who do you need to meet to be able to develop yourself, right? Who do you need to meet? Where do you need to go to for you to be heard? How do you need to show that, yes, I have this skill? And then once you now gotten to meet those persons, you've been able to show yourself, you've been able to develop yourself. You go into internships and projects where you're able to, now showcase your skill that you now have now. And then you overcome challenges that might come while your project is ongoing. For instance, you've deployed a project. Let me not use tech terms. For instance, you've sold your product, and then you need to be able to, the person you sold it to, or you helped your mom and dad build something for their business, right? And then they tell you, oh, my customers are having issues with this particular thing. So that's basically what overcoming challenges is there. Please let me go to the next slide. All right, so this is why I introduced Semicolon to you. In all those things that you saw in my previous slide where I talked about embracing the landscape, identify your interests, tech education and resources, there's a way you can actually get all those things, right? And that is what Semicolon does, basically. So we help people build themselves to become skilled software engineers without prior knowledge. I'm not sure if Jonathan told you, but what Jonathan did not tell you that he started coding in 2020. Jonathan, he started in 2022 now, just last year. Yeah, he started coding in 2022, right? And now look at where he is. He's working on live projects and he's deploying, right? So this is what we do at Semicolon. We'll help you build your skill. We help you nurture yourself as people who are interested in tech to becoming people who actually know tech and do tech, really. So if you have questions, you can always check us on our website, www.semicolon.africa. Please move to the next slide. Interestingly, we want to do something like a summer boot camp this year for people like you, right, who want to start a foundational career in tech, right? So you want to do something about tech and you want to learn how to become in tech. So we're doing something this summer. That's between August 1st to 31st, right? Sorry, to 23rd. We're doing a summer boot camp where we're teaching basic things that you need to know to get into tech, HTML, CSS, Python, design thinking, to be able to think to solve problems, web application design, and game development using Scratch, right? So this is what we're trying to do very soon. So if you're interested in that, you can come meet me at the back after this session and we can have a talk. I'll guide you through how to do it and what you need to do. You can move to the next slide. So I think this will be all for now. So if you have questions, you want to learn more about Semicolon, you can easily just reach out to me. I'll be at the back. Thanks for having us. It's good to have you guys. Bye.
Let's all appreciate Mr. Jonathan and Mr. Gabriel from Semicolon. That was very informative. That was very impactful. Let's all appreciate them for what they have said today. How many of us learned something tangible? Raise your hands. I learned something tangible. How many of us are going to venture into tech because of that? Okay, that's wonderful. Can someone tell me what they learned in this session? I need just two people, a boy and a girl. Can someone tell me what they learned in this session? Or should I pick? No one knows what they learned. Okay. Well, let's just appreciate them once more. God bless them and God keep them. It's almost time for sports, so you would need to go back to your rooms right now and change, and you'll be called back out in 5 minutes. So sports is already being set up. Let's all go back to our rooms now and change. God bless you all.